Hey guys, some of the videos that we've made from the car have triggered some questions about the road markings and street signs in Japan. Of course, we've got subscribers that come from all over the world, so some of the markings will be the same as they are in other countries, some will be different. So, of course, if you're going to drive in Japan, you're going to need to learn them all, and we're not going to be making a video with all of them, but we'll show you some, and maybe just answer some of the questions that we've been getting about some of them. Where to start? Well, how about we start with railway crossings. Railway crossings, even if they have boom gates and lights like this, you are expected to stop. So it says on the road there, stop. So you're supposed to stop at the white line, look for trains, which you can't actually see parked there anyway, and then head across the crossing. Next one, see the blue circle with the red line through it? That means no parking. That means when you see one of those, it means that on the side of the road here, you're not allowed to park, but you can stop and drop things off, drop people off. When it's got the single, see there it is again, blue circle with a one red line, single red line. So that means no parking, but you can actually stop and unload things or let people out. So standing is allowed. I think it's 5 minutes you're allowed to stop. You're not allowed to leave the car though, so you can't disappear. You have to be sort of close to the car. So if you just stop and take some stuff out of the car and drop it in a house or in a shop or pick some people up or something, it's okay. So of course, this small town and lots of other places around Japan, even in the big cities, most of these roads weren't built for cars, of course. So, you know, a lot of them aren't very wide. Sometimes they're just single lane. So, width is always a difference, a problem, you know. So some other people have also commented about no sidewalks or footpaths, and that's true too. So little towns like this, quite often there's no footpath. So the green at the side of the road there is supposed to be for pedestrians and bicycles. So that's all they've got, you know, is a half a metre or something on either side there, and that's quite normal. And sometimes if there's only single lane for cars, you know, it's a single lane enough for one car, and sometimes it's even difficult for people. People have to actually move off into a little space somewhere to get out of the way of the cars. You've actually seen videos like that on the Wheels playlist already. So what else? I see the diamonds on the right hand side of the road. The diamonds are showing that there's a pedestrian crossing coming. So some people are asking about that. What's the diamond shape on the road? There'll be another in a minute, I think. So when you see those diamond shapes on the road, it's telling you there's a pedestrian crossing ahead. Traffic light. Oh, look at the traffic light. This is interesting too. So the traffic light, we've just got the two signals up there above us. Sometimes there's only one. Now in some countries, including Australia, usually there's traffic lights on the side of the road as well, on both sides of the road. So you'll have one on either side of the road and one in the middle at the top, which is good, because what happens here is if there's a truck in front of you, and you can imagine if there's a truck in front of us now, we couldn't see the traffic lights. And that sometimes happens. You'll be driving along and approaching a traffic light, and there's a truck in front of you, and you can't actually see the traffic light as you go into the intersection because the truck's blocking your view. So you've got to be careful of that, because the truck might pass through on a green, but it might turn red as he's passing through, which means that you might be passing through on a red. So you've got to watch out for that. What else have we got going on here? Oh, a yellow line down the middle. We can cross that. We can cross that to go into those shops there. Double yellow line means you can't cross it. Single yellow line, you're not supposed to overtake on a single yellow, but it does make it difficult on small roads like this. If someone does stop at the side of the road, like they often do, they'll stop at the side of the road, put their hazard lights on while they're dropping something off. Sometimes you've got to cross that line to get around them, which is a bit difficult because you're not really supposed to. You're not supposed to overtake when there's a yellow line like that. If there's double yellow, you're not supposed to cross it at all, so you can't cross it to go into another building or another house or something. Here's the two diamonds. See the diamonds on the road? Diamonds on the road, and then there's a pedestrian crossing. And of course the rule is the same as most countries. If there's somebody waiting to go across that pedestrian crossing, you're supposed to stop and let them go across. Not that everybody does. you guys saw that video about the breaking road rules, so it's quite common to see people standing at the pedestrian crossing and cars just whizzing past because everybody's in such a hurry. So you see the speed limit there, guys, the red circle with the 40 in it. So of course Japan, like the rest of the world, uses the metric system, so 40 kilometers an hour. I think America's the only country that still uses cubits, or whatever you guys use, 4 cubits to the wazzle or whatever you guys use. So yeah, 40 kilometers an hour is the speed limit on this little road here, which for you American guys is 26 miles an hour, I think. Hang on, wait a minute. 24 miles an hour, so it's pretty low because it's a narrow little street, which is actually something you'll notice here, because quite often the speed limits on the roads here are lower than they really need to be. You know, you get a really good road with a really low speed limit. It happens all the time. So another question popped up quite a bit was, what's the red marking? So if you look on the road here, we've got the first red marking here, just says be careful. And then as we come up to this intersection up here on the road, you can see the red on the road. That's telling us that there's a major intersection here. So it's sort of warning you. So if you don't notice the lights, you'll see the red. It's just drawing your attention to the intersection. So they don't always have this, of course, but major intersections they sometimes do, or if there's an intersection that's had some problems, you know, some danger, some accidents or something, sometimes they'll suddenly put down the red. The blue one there on the right is just telling you it's a turning lane. So it's only a turning lane, that right one. So have a look at this bicycle coming, guys, with the mama chatty with the kids. Oh, it's not a mama chatty, but yeah, to see that? Kid on the front and kid on the back. I think they actually made that illegal here. I think you're only allowed to have one kid. I might be wrong about that. There was some talk about that recently. I'm not sure if I'll have time to show you this. Look in the middle of the intersection, there's a diamond in the middle of the intersection. In some countries, when you're turning on an intersection like that, if I wanted to turn right at that intersection, in some countries I'd turn behind the cars that were coming past, or behind the cars that were passing to my left. But here you turn before the diamond. So I might actually, I'll do one. I'll turn and show you a little bit further ahead here. I get lots of comments from people that live in countries where you drive on the right. They spin out a little bit about this driving on the left thing. I can understand that. I've driven in countries where you've got to drive on the opposite, so I know it's difficult. Fire hydrant sign on the left-hand side there, up high. Fire hydrant. Not really relevant unless you're a firefighter, really, but just pointing it out of curiosity. But yeah, driving on the left, if you're not used to it, yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to. I know, because in Australia we drive on the left. New Zealand's the same. If you've driven in the UK, it's also on the left. So it's quite normal for us. But I know it's difficult because I've driven in countries where you've got to drive on the right. It does take a bit of concentration. See the cyclists not look at all? They do that, guys. I've mentioned that on videos before. Look out for the cyclists and the pedestrians. They do that. They just amble across the street without looking. So I'll show you this diamond. Look in the middle of the intersection. There's a diamond on the road. Now, in Australia, you see the truck ahead? He wants to turn in front of me. The truck that's waiting at the light ahead of us is wanting to turn across in front of me. Now, in Australia, he'd come past me and I'd turn behind him. He'd turn behind me and I'd turn behind him. So we'd let each other go past first. In Japan, we'll pass in front of him. So if you've come from a country like I have where we don't do that, it can be dangerous. You have to pay attention, because if you forget, if I try and pass behind him, it's going to cause an accident. See, he comes in front of me, I go in front of him. So these other cars continue. So some countries this is normal, but of course in Australia it's not. In Australia it's the opposite, we pass behind. So anyway, just sort of show you that one. Now I've got to get back to where I was going. That was ridiculous. Just take a turn just to show you. What else is going on here that might be different for some of you guys? You mentioned in that breaking the road rules video about lots of people breaking the road rules. I really strongly recommend that you don't, though. The penalties, they have points. You lose points off your license, and fines, and the fines can be, you know, a few $100s for speeding and that sort of stuff, going through red lights, a few $100s and a few points off your license, and it's just a really big hassle, of course, so you know it's not worth it. Drink driving, the alcohol limit is 0, and if you're caught drink driving, the maximum penalty is a year in jail or $10,000 hyakuman, so it's more than $10,000. So best not to drink drive in Japan. So I just went round a roundabout. Some countries they call that a roundabout. In Japan they call it a rotary. Rotaries are really popular in Japan. You'll come across rotaries quite a bit. They're a bit of an art. If you come from a country that doesn't have roundabouts, you'd take a bit of getting used to, but they're a good thing because you don't have to sit and wait for the traffic lights. What else is unique? Not claiming anything's unique, actually. I do get those comments on videos now and again. That's not only in Japan, we have that in our country too. Yeah, well, this isn't the only in Japan channel, this is just the Japan channel, so all I'm trying to do is show you what's in Japan. If it's in your country as well, I'm very happy for you. All I'm trying to do is to show you what's in Japan, and then you guys can decide if it's in your country or not. Basically, guys, we've got subscribers from all around the world, so it's not possible for us to know what everybody else has got in their countries and decide if we can make a video about it, because it you know, they also have it in Albania or something. So yeah, it's lots of stuff on our channel people will recognize from their own countries as well. That's perfectly normal. It's a big world, it's a big international world, lots of stuff exists in lots of countries. So fire hydrant there on the right. Can you just see this no arrow? See on the right there, you might not be able to see it. See on the right there's a blue arrow, so it's a one-way street, of course. Telling you not to enter. Don't enter the one-way street. Seems fair, doesn't it? Okay. I think that might be about it, guys. I covered the bits you were asking about. Everyone was curious about the red marking on the road, so I think we got that. Other than that, I think if you're going to need any more detail, if you need any more... oh, yeah, look, the stop sign. The stop sign, yeah, see it set it on the road. There's nobody behind me, so I'll just back up here a bit. See on the road, it says stop, tamare. So it's got stop on the road and it's got stop. So in some countries the triangle's usually a give way sign, isn't it? In Japan the triangle's actually a stop sign. So it's saying stop. So again, you got to stop before the white line. Some people have asked why the white line is set so far back from the corner. It's because the roads are so narrow that if a truck comes around the corner now, he needs us to be back from the corner so he can get past us, basically. So you've got to stop before the white line. And of course, if you don't stop before the white line, the police see you, they can get you for not stopping. So, stop sign. Give way to the right rule. If you come to an intersection that doesn't have traffic lights, you give way to the cars coming from your right. If there's no stop sign, and no traffic lights, then you give way to the car that's approaching from your right. That's pretty normal for left-hand drive company, for driving on the left side of the road countries, I think. Other than that, guys, I think, yeah, if you need any more detail than that, I think you probably need to, you know, of course, if you're going to drive in Japan, you need to study it properly. So you'd need to go to the Department of Transport offices and get the books that show all the road rules and so on, and learn them properly. Learn all the signs and the road rules and the distances and all that sort of stuff. And we've covered it. Just check, guys, on the how-to playlist. We've covered the licensing thing, driving in Japan, and on the wheels playlist, we've covered a whole heap of other wheels in Japan stuff as well. So if you've got any other questions about that, check that out. So I got right away here. All right. So I hope you found that a little bit interesting. More videos coming soon.